Hi, my name is Nathan, and I'm a youth advocate at Avalon Center. This January, for Stalking Awareness Month, Avalon is shedding light on what stalking is and what you can do to protect yourself or help someone who might be experiencing it. This video discusses stalking behavior, including invasive and harmful actions, and may be distressing to some viewers. Now, let's get started by understanding what stalking truly means. Stalking. It's a word we often hear, but one that can mean very different things depending on how it's used. Sometimes people joke about stalking a crush's social media, a harmless curiosity that's become a part of modern dating. But stalking in its true form isn't lighthearted. It's a serious, invasive violation of someone's privacy and safety. Let's consider two very different reactions to a first date, one harmless, one harmful. Emily rested her head against the door, reflecting on her first date. It was wonderful. He was sweet, charming, and they both had so much in common. He had similar passions and interests, and he already sent a text asking to meet again. Later that night, she opened his Instagram and browsed through his photos, learning a bit more about his hobbies and interests. She even visited the profiles of a few of his tagged friends. As she winded down for the night, she couldn't help but feel excited for her second date. Contrast this with Jake's after-date experience. Jake couldn't stop thinking about his first date as he sat at his computer. But while Emily was curled up on her couch, casually scrolling through Jake's Instagram to get a sense of his hobbies, Jake's search had gone far deeper. He combed through her tagged photos for places she liked to visit. He couldn't access her friends' accounts, so he faked profiles to gain access. He found her home address on a public record search, discovered her favorite coffee shop through a Yelp review, and skimmed through years of tweets and posts for anything that might tell him more about her. As Jake collected more and more information, he couldn't help but feel excited for his second date. What was just presented were two different ways people talk about stalking. The first case was lighthearted curiosity. The second was an invasive hunt for control disguised as interest. Stalking is not lighthearted curiosity, it is a pattern of repeated, unwanted attention, harassment, and contact. Stalking can happen to anyone, anywhere. In fact, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience stalking in their lifetime, with 7.5 million people experiencing stalking every year. Stalking is not just a one-time event. It's a series of actions that together create an environment of intimidation and danger for the victim. Stalking can take many forms, but the most common type of stalker is not a hooded stranger in the alleyway. It's someone you know. In fact, intimate partner stalking, where the stalker is a current or ex-partner, occurs in every 2 out of every 3 stalking cases. Because of this, oftentimes it's difficult to recognize when someone you know is engaging in stalking behavior. When a strange number or unknown social media account bombards you with texts and DMs, blowing up your phone, asking about your location, it's easy to recognize that as harassment and stalking. You may even feel pretty comfortable reporting that number or account to the police. But when an acquaintance, friend, or a significant other doesn't respect your boundaries, constantly asks about your location, coincidentally shows up to where you work or hang out, suddenly that stalking behavior may be easier to dismiss. It can be far too easy to set aside red flags as harmless or not a big deal when we have a personal connection with the person. But when someone shows you their red flags, don't dismiss them. Trust your instincts. If a friend or partner's behavior is making you feel unsafe for any reason, it may be time to end that relationship. Stalking is not love, it's obsession. The primary goal of all stalkers is to obtain power and control over the victim by violating their boundaries and making them feel unsafe. The impact of stalking goes far beyond fear and harassment. It can affect your mental, physical, and social well-being. Stalking is a form of acute and chronic trauma that leaves lasting scars even after the traumatic event has ended. Some examples of the psychological impacts of stalking can include fear of death or physical harm, anxiety, including regular panic attacks in some cases, flashbacks and intrusive thoughts to the traumatic events, depression, considered or attempted suicide, feelings of powerlessness and helplessness, feelings of inner unrest. In addition to psychological impacts, victims may experience negative impacts to their social well-being. Victims reported aggressive thoughts and behaviors, regular feelings of agitation, increased suspicion of others, including a general mistrust of others, feeling afraid to enter new relationships, social withdrawal, and concentration problems. Victims experiencing stalking may withdraw from friends or family out of fear, cutting themselves off from support networks. The stress and toll of stalking can also have effects on the victim's health and physical well-being, and can lead to insomnia, headaches, higher blood pressure, high fatigue, ulcers, lack of appetite, and other health problems. And in some cases, victims may also turn to self-harm. Stalking is not love. It can cause mild to severe trauma in its victims and leads to negative mental, social, and physical health outcomes. Given how severe the impacts of stalking can be on the victim and the people they know, it's important to be able to recognize the signs of stalking and how you can help yourself or someone you care about. Here are some red flags to look out for. Receiving calls from blocked numbers. Receiving follow requests from accounts you don't recognize. Your stalker checking up on you without asking. Following you home from work or school. Frequently ignoring or violating your boundaries. Sending unwanted messages through text or social media. Obtaining your personal information before you provide it. Using gifts or romantic gestures to make up for obsessive behavior. Tracking your location. Damaging property, and making threats to harm you or someone you love. Recognizing stalking starts with trusting your instincts. If something feels off, document it. Keep a detailed log of incidents, including dates, times, and descriptions of the behavior. Take threats made by the stalker seriously and make a safety plan with someone you trust so you can stay safe. Take steps to increase your security for additional protection. Examples might include setting up security cameras, motion lights, changing your routine, updating your passwords, and enabling two-factor authentication. Limit your communication with the stalker as much as possible. If you feel comfortable, contact the police so that they can monitor the situation. Stalking often accompanies other illegal activities, such as trespassing, identity theft, vandalism, breaking and entering, sexual assault, and witness intimidation. Although contacting the police may be the best option if you feel your safety is at risk, if you don't feel comfortable contacting the authorities, national, state, and local stalking prevention hotlines and organizations are also available. Reaching out for help is your most powerful tool for your safety. On the screen now are resources you can contact for help, and more resources are available in the description. There are also legal protections available to stalking victims to safeguard their well-being. Anti-stalking laws are based on the victim's response to the stalking behavior. If a victim believes a person's conduct is threatening or intimidating, they may be able to obtain a restraining order, which legally prohibits the stalker from contacting or approaching the victim, or a protective order, which provides legal protection that may also extend protections to one's family or workplace. Stalking is a serious issue, but you're not alone. Awareness is the first step to prevention, and there are resources and strategies to help protect yourself and support others. Thank you for joining us at Avalon this Stalking Awareness Month. Share this video to spread further awareness about stalking and stalking behavior. This project was supported in part by subgrant number FAM-22-078-03, awarded by the Virginia Department of Social Services. The opinions, findings, conclusions, and recommendations expressed in this publication are those of the author and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Virginia Department of Social Services.